Patrick at Pals, and I got Chuck here today. And Chuck, you're in the middle of a Jeep and a TR6. What are we doing today?
So here at Pals, one of the many things we do besides fix daily drivers is a lot of custom work, a lot of rehab, refurbish, rebuild work. Okay, and what I want to talk about this morning is these project cars that we have here and your project car. You know, people come in and they have an idea in their mind of what they want, but sometimes they don't have the perception of what it's going to cost to do a car. This car came to us basically a shell, no motor, no transmission, no electronics, no doors. We've been steady putting this car back together for the customer. When you do restoration work, though, it's time consuming and it's costly. Sometimes people's perception of what the cost is and what it really will be don't match up.
And the time is the same way, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is not 2 weeks of work here.
No, this is hours upon hours upon hours of work. And how we bill that is because there's no labor guide or time guide on these things. No predictability of parts. Parts are very difficult to get since COVID as well. Something that used to get off the shelf may take a month to get now. But the way we bill on these cars is in real time. The technician punches a time card when he starts. He punches a time card when he's done. Whatever that time is, that's how we bill for that vehicle. And we keep track of every hour and every minute on every single vehicle because it is time consuming. Rewiring the car, putting in the electronics. If you come back here, look under the dash, we've started wiring up the stuff for the dash. All of that takes time, especially when you get the car in boxes. Now, it's a little easier if you take the car apart yourself and then put it back together. But like this particular car, it came to us in boxes. So we've got a car that we didn't disassemble that we are now rebuilding. And a lot of the parts were missing or not there. And so it takes time to find out where it goes, how it hooks up, and where to get it from.
So the first step, like a car like this, you've got to inventory the parts that come into the car and assign every part a name and a location where it goes.
That is correct. Luckily, with the internet, there's lots of diagrams out there that we can use to find where things go.
Okay. So then you start assembling it, and you're missing a part, and you order it, and on this TR6, you found several of them have got to come from England.
That's
right?
correct, which takes weeks, sometimes months to get. So, you know, there's no time frame on doing a restoration job, especially one that comes to you basically as a puzzle, because again, we never disassembled the car. The customer did years ago, and now we're putting it back together for them.
So like with this customer, the customer took this car apart, probably took it apart in about a month, and he said, wow, okay, I got it apart in a month, I should be able to get it back together in a month. But that's not how it works, is it?
No, and what happened was the customer found out that he was unable to put it back together. So he wanted us to do that. See, that's the other side of restoration work. The months that it takes to do something, people's lives change. Their financial situations change. Their health changes. And that could be a stressor on doing the rebuild. Okay? It could go from, I'm healthy and I'm happy and I'm financially stable, I want to invest the money in this car, to all of a sudden we have a life event, a money event, that changes the entire complexion and situation for the customer. So when you're planning a restoration out, make sure that your health situations and your financial stability are something that are going to remain in place no matter what happens to the country, the economy, or your life, because it's still going to cost what it costs to do the job. And if your situation changes and you can no longer afford or have the health to complete the job, well, then that becomes a problem, not just for you, but for us, because we want to help you finish your project. And we also understand people's life situations change. But so that change can affect what you're doing.
And so one of the ways we help folks with that is, instead of asking for all the money up front or half the money up front, what we do is we do draws, right? We pick a particular dollar amount depending on what the job is. Like the draw for this TR6 would be different than the draw for this Jeep that just needs the engine resealed. I mean, that's a big project, the engine resealed, but it's not near the project that a full restoration is.
That is correct. And so what happens is we take that draw, and any parts that we get, we bill it against the money that's been given to us. Any hours that we work on the car that have been logged on a time card, we then bill against that draw. If that draw then becomes used, we will reach back out to the customer and ask for another draw. Sometimes projects may require 2 or 3 draws depending on how much and what we're doing.
And sometimes the customer has a life-changing event and they want to stop the project. And at that point, they're even with us, we're even with them. We can just put everything together and they can take it home until they're ready to go forward.
That is correct. And if that happens in the middle of a project that we're doing, what we would do is, again, fix everything so they could take it home. When their situation gets better physically, mentally, or financially, we can have them bring it back so we can resume and finish that project for them. Because we certainly here at PALS understand that people's lives change over the course of doing these projects. It can take a month to do the Jeep. It could take a year to do the TR6. And that happens with these projects. If you watch any of the mainstream car shows, you'll see that they take months.
Right. It's not a 1 week project.
That is correct. It takes months to do that. It takes a lot of computer time. We've got time finding diagrams for this that have hours invested into them because the car came to us in pieces. Now, the Jeep we took apart ourselves. This is not a big deal because we took it apart. We have everything in place to put it back together. But every project's different. Every project's needs are different. Every person's life situation is different. And so we take all that into account here at PALS. We want to have you have the best project completion that you can have for yourself. And if your life situation changes, we certainly respect and understand that here, and we'll do whatever's necessary to help you either wrap up your project, take your project home till you're in a better situation, or to finish your project.
Well, that's a great explanation, Chuck. You know, if you've got a project, folks, bring it to PALS. We'll take care of it in a timely manner, and we'll have you a good result. See you soon.